Welcome to the Science of Gratitude podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Valerie Mukanga, and each week we'll explore how gratitude transforms our lives through powerful stories and insights. Let's dive in. Hello, and thank you once again for tuning in to the Science of Gratitude podcast. It is such a pleasure to be here, a pleasure to spend time with you today. And today we have a special guest, Dr. Sam Adebiyi, who is blessing us in the platform today. I know he's going to be a tremendous blessing to you as he is to me. So, Doctor, I'm going to actually have you introduce yourself to our audience, please.
Okay, thank you so much. It's so good to be on your platform. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Sam Adebiyi. Of course, I graduated, practiced as a medical doctor, but I like to call myself someone that is I have so many hats I wear. So it's really very hard to describe me in one title or by one title.
Notice how this doctor is humble because he didn't even want to say I'm Dr. Sam, but I'll actually address him as Dr. Sam. But the humility has it as him just going by Sam.
That's fine.
So, Doctor, tell us a little bit about gratitude in your own terms. What does gratitude mean to you?
So for me, gratitude has always been about acknowledging the source, remembering where things came from, that these things did not come from me. These things came from God. Gratitude, remembering that, well, I might think I deserve it, but that thought in itself it puts me in a different mindset where I begin to get proud of my achievements. I forget the source.
Yes, that's good. So gratitude as in remembering the source. And to you, who or what is the source?
Every good thing comes from God. Yes, He has several channels. We have one source, we have several channels. Sometimes He uses people.
Yes.
We can't choose, or I can't pick and choose what channel He's going to use.
Right.
Sometimes we can get hung up on the channel saying, I expect him to come this way. I expect him to come that way. Why didn't this person show up? And we feel like, well, God has disappointed me. Meanwhile, that is on his channel.
Wow, I like that a lot. Yes, because right. The source, there's the source, there's resources, but I really like how you talked about the channels. I never quite saw it that way, but you're right. You know, he uses whichever way to get you to have things or to become things. He uses different ways and they don't look the same all the time. I like that. Yeah. So doctor, tell us a little bit about your story. I would like to dive into your gratitude story. I'm all ears. We are all ears.
So for me, I had an experience that changed my life. I was this kind of person. I would say that I'm a very logical person, a very practical person. And at some point in my life, I felt like, well, I don't like to hang around church people because I was around a lot of church people that were weird. I mean, that was the best way I could put it. I felt like church was boring. It was better to stay outside church. I had more fun outside church than in church.
Wow.
And for me, that was my mindset at about that time. Even when my family members are in church, when they were in church at the point, yes, I started going to church. I started attending some, but they will be teaching and I will go out with my friends. We'll sneak out of church.
I see.
To go play because it was just fun to play.
I see.
And
so, doctor, like when you say they were boring, what do you mean? Like, can you like paint a picture, like a more detailed picture of what boring meant to you when you ascribed the term boring to the church people?
You know, then growing up, we had people that did not realize that there was a different way to communicate with kids or teenagers compared to adults. So they were teaching us as adults, you come to church, they expect you to sit down the way adults sit down for the entire length of the long service. Nothing to engage my mind. And of course, I had questions. There was no platform to actually ask those questions and get answers.
Okay, okay.
So that turned me off a little bit.
Right, right. So when you grew up, you were pretty much like from the get-go, you were going to church as a child as well.
As a child, yes.
Okay, okay. But there was no room for you to understand because they were teaching just as if they were teaching adults.
I think they were teaching adults.
Oh,
At
okay.
that particular point in time, that was before I got to understand the reason behind it. My experience, the experience I had, I believe closer to my teenage years, changed my orientation of church. So instead of talking about what they were doing wrong, I started to become the change in that
Okay.
church.
Okay. How did that happen? How did you make the change? What changes did you make? I'm nosy.
Well, it's interesting because it's actually not me. It was a change that found me. So one
Okay.
of those days, I decided to go out of church during one of the church services. I was out there with my friends, about
Yes.
three or four of us.
Okay.
Nobody knew where we were, but we had gone out and we're just playing outside. We saw this, I don't know what we were thinking. We saw this cool river and we're playing beside the river.
Okay.
And my friends felt it was, and they were playing, they were throwing stones into the river and all of that. So I cannot explain how I ended up inside the river.
Okay.
It's a very, well, it's not a pool,
It's
it's
a river.
a river.
Wow.
And for me, that was an experience. I knew that this was it. Because my friends didn't even know. The river was just taking me. I already signed out. I was like, well, this is the end.
Wow.
I'm done. And for some reason, as the river, the current, as the river was, there's no 911 where I grew up.
Where did you grow up, doctor?
I grew up in Nigeria.
Okay. What city?
I grew up in Akure,
Okay.
Nigeria.
Okay.
So there was no 911. My friends didn't even know that anything was happening. They were still playing, not crying for help or nothing. But somehow, as the river was, I was being carried in the river, and this was around the rainy season when the river was overflowing its banks.
My goodness.
So nobody could see me, but there was this very big branch in the river that held me for some time. And after a while, the current broke off the tree that was hanging to in the river.
My
At
goodness.
that same time, someone was just walking. He was walking on the other end of the river, not even
Okay.
close to where we were. And he
Wow.
said he just heard in a spirit that I should dive into the river. And he said to himself, why should I dive into the river? Like,
Right?
it didn't make sense
At all.
dive into the river.
Uh-huh.
And he said at that point that was the first time in his life, he just thought like, well, okay, it's not going to harm me. He went into the river. He was, of course, he was an adult, went into the river. As he
Yes.
got into the river, at the same point was where I was. Like the currents already moved me. It moved me to the exact spot of it's a very big river, the
Wow.
exact spot where he landed. So he felt my leg and rushed
He
to grab.
just
He
felt
couldn't
the
see
leg.
me. He felt my leg. He couldn't see nothing.
My goodness.
He said it felt like maybe a fish or something. And he just, next day he said, wow, this is a child. Nobody knew what happened.
My goodness.
And he brought me back, resuscitated me, brought me back. They were asking, who's this boy? Who's this boy? Who's this boy?
Oh my God. He had to do CPR on you, doctor?
Yeah.
Thank God he knew how.
It was just, I would say, and it's not very usual to have that. He was like the right person at the
At the
right place
time.
at the right time. After that experience, I was like, I think I already died. And I
Wow.
said, well, it's better to stay alive. That, okay, God, I get the message. I can no longer say church is boring. I can no longer say, what do you want me to do? And that explains the rest of my life.
I'm still shocked. I'm still shocked, doctor. Wow. What were you think? So you had passed out and everything. When the current was like carrying you, like what were you thinking while that was happening? What were you thinking in your mind?
No, it's funny that before that time, I had several dreams and I also thought like, yes, this dream is finally coming to pass. It's
You had
finally happening. That so this is how I'm going to die. That was what I had in mind.
what were your dreams? Like the same thing?
Dreaming very similar, like, yeah, I just got into this water, very big river. And for me, I didn't understand that. I was like, okay, what does this mean? I didn't know people pray about dreams.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't tell
And
nobody about my dreams.
this God was already trying to communicate with you and you just didn't know how to respond.
I didn't know. And the funny thing I heard was that that was the third year. Like for 2 years before, the year before, one child died in the same river.
Are you
So for
serious?
2 years, this was the third year, around the same time. So I didn't know all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody goes near the river around such times, but I didn't know all of that.
So how did you get back to your friends? How did you get back to your family?
Once,
Laughing because you just slipped out of church to almost die. Like, my
yeah,
God.
and it's kind of interesting. The guy, he got out and he was just screaming, "Who wants this child?" And of course, people were shouting.
Mm-hmm.
Then, who's this? Who's this? I had on my church clothes,
Okay.
so someone said he's from this particular church. So they sent people to the church to look for. Everybody in church came out
Wow.
screaming, "What's going on? What's going on?" and all of that. But it was an experience.
You see my mouth dropping like it's literally open, like what? Oh my God. But something as we were speaking and you were talking about, having the dreams and because I asked you what were your dreams and then you said it was exactly what had happened and and I said God was already talking to you and you didn't know who he was.
Yeah,
And then that, where I went in my brain? I went to Samuel, who, God is talking to me and to him, and he doesn't know who it is. But at
absolutely.
least he had somebody to go to get direction. And while I'm thinking about that, I'm like, wait a whole minute. Dr. Sam is Samuel.
Yes,
Him. So I kind of had the chills as I'm thinking about this because, just as Samuel, as a kid, God was trying to get your attention, but you didn't know how to pay attention because you didn't even know what to do. So now your parents, they all run from church and they come and find out it is, lo and behold, it's Sam. What did they do?
it's interesting. My parents, because they were surprised. That was the first time they knew I was sneaking out of church.
Wow.
So they could hardly believe it was their child
Right.
because they were in shock. They couldn't say nothing to me. They were just grateful that I was alive.
Yeah. To that man.
The man, people were, I don't remember what they did. Of course, it's not like the US where I don't know what happened to the man. The man, they tried to give, I think they wanted to give him money. They wanted to give him, it was just like, I can't take credit for this, that he had no idea. He was just someone that knew how to swim.
Mm-hmm.
He was born in a place where his parents taught him how to swim. He grew up
Yes.
beside rivers and he felt like he just didn't know why he decided to take that route that day.
Mm-hmm.
That all of this is still a shock. That he wasn't expecting what he saw.
Right.
He was still as shaken as everybody else.
And that someone who knew how to swim was also someone who could follow the prompting, the strong prompting of the Holy Spirit, as in dive in now.
Yeah.
And it took the second time for him to do it and meet you at the same time as, I mean, that's
Yeah.
incredible. We thank God for people who actually listen to this strong feeling that they can't shake and that feels crazy. Like, what's wrong with me? Something
Yeah.
is wrong with me. Forget it. Man, imagine if he didn't follow, I would have never known you.
That's the same thing I said to myself. Set me on a journey to get to know God. So it means God actually talks to people, that God is actually real.
So then from then on, how do you end up like following, the Lord?
So I knew that for me, the major part of my life will be following God,
Hmm.
doing kingdom businesses. Of
Hmm.
course, I was very intelligent in school. From that point, it was like there was a change in my academics. I
Okay.
started to do so well
Wow.
and had scholarships, won awards, and I knew something had happened.
Yes.
I couldn't explain it. Looking back now I understand what happened. But somewhere at the back of my mind, I knew this is a phase. God is giving me all this as platforms for the kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
So even in medical school, yes, I went to medical school. Yes, I knew that was a part of my life. But I know that's not the only side of my life.
Yeah. Right. There's more to it than just being a doctor.
Yes.
Say, when you say that things had changed and now you became brilliant, like how was your life before then?
Before then, I was this kind of child that was just curious. At some points, nobody knew what I was thinking, but I had so many questions, unanswered questions, and sometimes I could snap because I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to process everything I was thinking. I could be on a 3 hour journey and all I'm doing is I'm just quiet. I like talk. Is it that you hate people? No, not that I hate people. I'm just trying to process too many things, too many questions.
Yes.
So developing the friendship with God, with the Holy Spirit, and after this experience brought me to a different space.
Okay. Who led you? Like, was it your parents who led you into, the kingdom, or like now, developing these relationship with God, or like making you, getting into this path that you're on, realizing that all your platforms belong to Him? Like, was it at the same church that they now started teaching you differently, or
No.
did you start like reading the Bible on your own? Like, how did it happen?
So my mom, I'll say my parents knew. My parents kind of knew. My mom knew. My dad knew. And at that point, they stopped. They knew that there are decisions I will make they may not like, but there was just something different about me. And they came to terms with it, which was very difficult because when other guys were saying, I'm going to clubs, I'm going to parties, I'm like, you understand, I'm not going there. This is where I'm going. And that didn't mean that I did not know what was going on with other people. I knew about, I had friends, but it's like I started putting boundaries, very clear boundaries. Even when I didn't understand why I had those boundaries, I started putting those boundaries in place. I started seeing people differently. How do we preach? I didn't know much about preaching. I didn't know much about, I was just gravitating towards doing things for people, helping people. I started helping teenagers from a very young, even while I was a teenager myself.
Wow. How were you helping them?
So what's happened to me in the previous place, a new church now. By this time, my parents, my mom, she's always been praying.
Yes.
We got to this new church. They had a teenage church and I had the opportunity to serve there.
Okay.
So it was not a structured service. It was a service that emerged because I saw a need myself and another one of my friends. We saw the need and we were like, church used to be boring, but there's a way we could reach out to people like us, to
Yes.
teenagers and talk to them that the gospel doesn't have to be boring. God is not a boring subject. That people can actually have real relationships with God, helping with things like their mental health, helping
Yeah.
with things like decisions about relationships and the regular challenges we go through.
Yes. Wow. So who was you? Were you the leader, or were you somebody that was facilitating like in that new church for the youth group? Were you the leader? Like what was, I understand you saying that, it was no longer boring. So that means that instead of where like the word was preached at that level, like for adults, now it was actually addressing your heart on your level. Who was actually leading you, and like, so that it could be understood by people at your level?
So we were doing it ourselves, myself and another one of my friends, two of us were like the leaders.
Okay.
Yes. And we're just pushing. And once the church saw that they saw the results in the teenagers. As much as there were rules, there were things that they felt, well, we don't think people should do this, but they were seeing changed lives. They just gave us the freedom to operate.
Got you. What were your services like? Like, I'm so curious. What were your services like?
Our services were as real as sometimes we have it like regular conversations. And while preaching, there's a way people put on church voice when they're preaching, and people are acting all spiritual as though they don't make any mistake, they are all perfect, they don't go through stuff. But right from there, we began to share with them. We encourage people that were going through things. Teenagers, there were people that were dealing with suicide issues, people dealing with abuse issues, people dealing with all kinds of things. But because the church already assumes everybody in church is perfect, there was no way to reach out to those people.
I see. I
So we
see.
started showing them in the Bible that, listen, there's a cure to this thing in the Bible. What you're
Yes.
going through, God understands. He's a
Yeah.
friend.
Yes. Yes. And so they felt like God was accessible, like God was understanding, like God was on their side. He was for them.
Yes.
Man, that's interesting. Yeah. Are you still in touch with some of these friends of yours?
Yes.
Disciples?
From time to time, I run into them
Yes.
and they're always like, oh, pastor, pastor. And I'm like, I don't like the title of the pastor, but eventually I've grown to accept it. So
Oh,
most times I
really?
just introduce myself as Sam, but most people are like, oh, pastor. And I'm like, then I didn't have any official title,
Yes.
but I was just doing the work from my heart.
So then, that was when you were still in high school, or you were still, you had not graduated to go to college or anything?
I started in high school, my senior high school, senior years,
Uh-huh.
and continued through college.
Okay. Wow. So who ended up like taking over that once you were done with your studies?
So we had other people we already groomed take over.
How did you group them?
Sometimes it's one thing to be born again, is another thing to be discipled.
Yes.
With discipleship, you get to know people because consistently they've had the opportunity not just to hear God's word on Sundays, they've had time to practice. Like I tell, it's one of the things I said that yes, I know there are so many Christians, but I can't trust every Christian with my money. Some people are not
You said
discipled.
something. You said something. He said some people are not discipled enough.
They have it in them. So they have the ability, but they have not learnt how Jesus would react in certain circumstances, that he's not going to use his needs as an excuse to disobey God.
Thank you.
He's been discipled. So it was easy.
How long did this discipleship program that you guys facilitated? Like how long was it? Like was it different for different people?
It was different for different people. We I think then we didn't even know that that was discipleship. What we're doing was discipleship. We
Ah,
had no idea. We just felt like we were there for people. We just felt like we were providing that safe space for people that needed to learn how to pray. We tell them,
yes.
come pray with us. So that we're not just teaching about prayer. Until they actually pray with you, they don't know. You'll ask, how do you pray? And some people think it's a very big deal. The same way you talk to God is your father.
Right, right, right.
Like, okay, what about the Bible? I don't have a degree. I'm like, take the Bible, get a translation. There's nothing that ties you to King James Version.
Thank
You
you.
to read any version you understand. God's word is a universal language.
Yes.
Anybody should be able to understand God's word. That's what we're doing.
I love it. I
Thank
love it.
you.
I do really love it because yeah, it's not rocket science. Yeah. And then we have the greatest teacher. The one who opens
Absolutely.
it up. The one who opens it
Absolutely.
up makes the revelations real.
Absolutely. I think once the heart is right, we always have the teaching ministry of the Holy Spirit. Because it's not how much we study, it's what He shows us. He will guide us to all truth. So
Yeah. You know, going back to your story in the river, when I was one day I was with one of my friends who is now an apostle, Apostle Mike Wabantu. It was we had finished high school, and we decided, because I was going to leave the US. I left right after high school. Like I didn't even wait for my diploma or anything. I just left. Well, we had a competition, kind of like SAT, I guess, but it was national. Maybe not so much, but there was a national competition, and so finished that. And I didn't wait for that result. In French, it's called les examens d'état, so state exams.
Okay.
Finished that, and then about 10 days after I came to the US to come and study. But before that, my high school friend and I, we decided we were going to go to this remote place and like, go and go camping. So there was a river.
Now the river again.
So when you were saying that story, I'm like, the river, because he literally came. I think it was this last summer. He came to the U.S. and then he reminded me and even told, because my mom was here at the time, so he told my mom the story of what happened at the river. I had completely forgotten. And it just like resurfaced as you're talking, because we decided we were just going to cross over the river. And it was not like a big, huge, huge current or anything, but there was enough of a current. So we decided to just hold hands and then we were going to cross over. Lo and behold, your sister here, she slips off and then off I start going. So we do have
Wow.
something in common. And then my friends rushed there and they just grabbed me and then we crossed. They were like, oh my gosh. So we told their parents that we were going to go camping and we almost lost this girl that's traveling to the US. What the heck were they going to say? So we didn't cross that river again. And I thank God I got to be safe. And the worst thing is that I didn't even know how to swim at the time.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to swim. Yes, I thank God that I had the right people to rescue me, kind of like just the same way. My story was not as, drastic as yours was because you literally almost died. But yeah, but there was a river in my life. I'm just like, no, be careful if you don't know how to swim or if you see that the current
Yeah.
is crazy, don't dive in there. What are you being adventurous for? It's dangerous.
Absolutely.
These bodies of water are not, they can be very dangerous.
They look nice if you don't know how to swim out of the river.
Right. But then as you were talking about the river, because I'm always thinking, as you were always thinking, you were talking about that and it made me think about the river in Ezekiel.
Okay.
Something happened to you in the river, even though it was not pleasant circumstance. It was not as pleasant as it was for, in the vision that Ezekiel was seeing, where he's like,
Mm.
okay, I was walking through the water and then it was, ankle deep and then knee deep and then hip deep and then shoulder. And then I was no longer able to, but with you, it was like that river took you. And while you almost died, it's almost like you also spiritually died to yourself to where now you came out and emerged out like alive to God. I think something miraculous happened to you in that river. That was like your wake up call that, made things change to where like God even, it's almost he baptized you in something where like the old you was dead and a new you surfaced.
Absolutely.
So even though, like physical rivers can be dangerous, there is a river of God that I thought about that you
Mhm.
absolutely want to dive into
Yep. Yep. You
in
don't
order
need to
to be
learn.
changed.
You don't need to learn or be afraid of that river.
That part. Yeah, that's a river you actually want to dip in,
Yeah.
lose yourself in.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there's that good river, and God is the river. So we
Mhm.
have to dive into Him. But then, doctor, I was going to ask you, because you're a medical doctor, what made you choose to become a doctor? And how was God part of your journey while you were in school and even after you came out?
So I'll say medicine found me in the
Mm-hmm.
sense that for me, after my encounter, I started to do so well.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're growing up, there's several things that were different from the way it's done in the US. So you
Yeah.
either you go the science route
Mm-hmm.
or you go the other route that is not the science route.
Mm-hmm.
So for the science route, my best subject was put in biology. I could do that so well.
Mm,
And when it was time to write my college entrance exams, I scored very high.
mm-hmm,
And I was like, yeah, I'm studying medicine. I want
mm,
to become a cardiologist. I had so many things I wanted to do at that point. Yes,
yes.
I love to help people. And I felt that was, for me at that time, I felt that was what I was going to do, to
Mm-hmm,
help people.
mm-hmm,
But my mind was only seeing that part.
yes.
But God had other things in
Mm-hmm,
store.
mm-hmm,
And it was funny that I got a very high score,
yes.
but I made up my mind. This was another point of my life.
Mm-hmm,
I was like, yes, I've been doing this. I've been trying. I think I got born again too
mm-hmm,
early. Let me go and taste what the world was like. And I wanted to go to college and
yes.
enjoy absolute freedom.
Mm,
I saw life. I felt like, let me just go there. God knows if I went to college at that time, my intention was I just want to go and run wild as I could. This was a part, as interesting as it was, with my
yes.
high score, mistakes started happening, one
Mm,
mistake after another that I couldn't explain. I
mm-hmm.
did not get into college that year with my high scores, which
That's it.
was ridiculous. It was like something kept blocking me at every point, from them forgetting the state where I came from, making an error. So it's just, I was like, what is going on?
Right?
At that point, I sat down again. I was like, okay, God, it looks I've gone off tangent. Okay, okay. So this is my life. I had to make that recommitment, go
Yes.
back. I wrote the exam again, scored even higher.
I see.
This time it was settled in my heart. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
even have to, but it was just straight. Everything went so well, went through medical school, but I kept remembering that I'm living a borrowed life. I cannot afford to go wild anymore.
Right.
Yeah. So,
So you finished medical school in Nigeria or
yes, I did in Nigeria.
okay. Did you ever practice as a
Yes, I did.
okay, what was your field of study?
Family medicine, I was doing that until I found another passion.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is
My days of family medicine, let me say, I'll give you a bit of a background. My dad was a vet doctor, but he practiced more as an entrepreneur.
mm-hmm.
So while other doctors were focused on services,
Mm-hmm.
he saw another side. He saw the business side
Mm,
and he explored it.
okay.
So I always admired him. Once I started practicing medicine, my mind started seeing the business side of medicine.
I see.
So I walk into the hospital and I'm thinking, these people can cut down waste this way. These people, my mind started wired for operations, management, administration.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to say to myself, the first hospital that I practiced in,
Mm-hmm.
I was indispensable because once I joined, the income started to increase. The hospital revenue started to increase because of several things I was introducing. That was the way my mind was working.
That is so interesting. Wow. Wow. There's no, you know, everybody does not have the same linear path. And it's not like, okay, because you're a medical doctor, you can't do anything else.
Absolutely. For
Wow.
me, most people ask that, how did you find yourself here? I'm like, this, for me, it's the easiest thing for me to think about scaling a business, profitability. There's no reason why a clinic should struggle. There's no reason
Mm-hmm.
why a healthcare practice should struggle, especially a kingdom one. We're doing so much. And for me, my passion changed from just practicing to kingdom businesses. If you have a kingdom business that is doing well, the money
Mm-hmm.
goes back into the kingdom. But medical school taught us the orthodox way. So our minds are on the patient.
Yes.
Every time, if your mind is on the patient, after a while, you need something to sustain charity, which is the business side.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it takes, if you have someone without that background of compassion, what happens is they turn the hospital to a money making machine where they are
Correct.
telling people, see the patient, it's all about the money.
Yes, 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 yes.
But if you have a combination of someone that understands the practice,
Mm-hmm.
understands the beauty of what we do as doctors,
Mm-hmm.
and also understands the profitability, that this is how to make profits to sustain it. This is how for a lot of things, you can run more efficiently and still make profits. That union is usually very good, which is where I come in. And I found another passion on the side.
I love it. I love it. So I met Dr. Sam. I didn't even realize he was a doctor, but my friend Dr. Okehe, who introduced me to him, it's because I was needing for my business, some help with visibility. And that's where I met Dr. Sam. So I would absolutely love you to talk to us about how you help doctors now. Because honestly, we're very grateful for you, Doc.
So thank you. So a lot of times I've seen that doctors is either they are working for practices for many years and they're always afraid to step out because we are trained with that independent mindset. I can do everything by myself. I can wear all the hats. The beautiful thing about business is getting brilliant minds that can help you scale the business. Healthcare is also a business which with the right set of hands, there are people that live, breathe, and dream social media. The doctor probably spends most of what he does on social media, probably checking emails, responding to comments. And as much as you may want to do that by yourself, that would not be a profitable use of your time.
Right. And it's not even sustainable.
It's not. So you'll be wondering, how do I come up with content? You shouldn't have to bother about coming up with content. Someone that understands what you do, all they're just doing is they are running it through you. What do you do? How could we make you more visible? What is the niche you are in? What makes you different from other places? Because most kingdom businesses have at their center things like compassion.
Yes.
But people don't know that because most times the kingdom business is hidden. We're a city set on a hill, which should not be hidden. The entire neighborhood should know. The community should know. The city should know. Which will be visible that they're like, okay, we know there is a medical practice here. This is what they're doing for us. They are contributing. Because some people just see doctors as high income people that they just live in their own mansions. They have nothing. They are just out to take your money.
Yes.
But putting a face behind it that I'm also, you can see me, I'm human. And that's what this generation wants. They want someone that they can connect with.
Correct.
A practice that actually cares for them, not just giving them medications.
Right.
So that's the bulk of what I do, helping practices run more efficiently. You shouldn't keep wasting resources on what you should do with resources on. So sometimes we just come in. I have an MBA in healthcare administration, which helps me just run my mind through the practice to know what do we do? What can we do differently? What can we change? So that is where I always come in.
I see. So when Dr. Okehe actually, whenever she introduced me to Dr. Sam, is because I was in need of a virtual assistant, somebody that would help me. I would actually create the content, but I'm not technology savvy. So to actually take that video, rearrange it, put music into it, and like make me look amazing. So that's where Dr. Sam's company, he actually has one of the things that he does. In fact, he actually is able to match, a company, a doctor, an office with different virtual assistants to help them, with their visibility. And that being said, it's going to, make them go from being hidden, as he was saying, to being seen. Because as one of my mentors, Dr. Una says, it's like your patients are already there. They just don't know that you exist. So how do they end up knowing that I exist? And as you said earlier, doctor, is that many people are binging on social media, and there are people who know how that works. While I'm treating my patients, while I'm taking care of my business, I don't need to now go home and start assembling this video and doing all that. Somebody can work for me while I'm working and making me, seen. So that's what Dr. Sam does. What is the name of that company, doctor? One of the things that he does. Yes.
Yes, one of the things I do. Premium healthcare virtual assistants. That's what. So we run things from social media management or marketing, virtual medical assistants, virtual practice managers, AI managers, AI optimization, a whole lot of other things just for the business.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for existing.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you for all you do. So you kept talking about kingdom businesses. What do you mean by a kingdom business, and why should a business be a kingdom business?
Okay. For a number of people don't understand that what we do, we are citizens of a particular kingdom that has an agenda. The agenda of this kingdom, one, God is love. We are spreading the love of God. Two, we are bringing people in contact with that love on a daily basis. Our agenda is not to destroy or damage people. Some other kingdoms run that way, but we are very clear in our approach. Healing for the body, salvation for the soul. And that is what we are all about. So if we're about that, there are some businesses that exist. Let me give some, I'm not saying this disparagingly. You patronize some businesses. If you were not an alcoholic, the business will make you an alcoholic. That's how they make money.
Right.
But our business has a purpose. Whatever we make, whatever we become, is all for God's glory. It's for our community to get better. It's for people to get well. It's to showcase God's goodness. When we say God is good, they can look at this business. They're like, well, I know a good business. This business really, they exist for our good. And that is what a kingdom business, spreading that, making that invisible side of God visible to our world. That's the heart of a kingdom business.
And so, do you only work with kingdom businesses? And if a business is not a kingdom business, do you do anything to entice the owner to become a owner of a kingdom business? And if so, how do you do it? That's a lot of questions.
So I get that a lot. And people understand our values. That
Yes.
one, our values, we promote the things God promotes. Now, if we have other people that are not necessarily kingdom people, what the Bible says is, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father, which is God, which is in heaven. So,
Yes.
by way our interactions with those businesses, instead of seeing just us, they begin to see the God behind us. And I love to interact with people that say, well, I don't run a kingdom business. I don't do this. I don't. Sometimes after interacting with them, I'm like, there's a better way to make money. There's a better way to live. That way, I'm also spreading God's love, because my business is also a kingdom business that would engage other people that are not kingdom people. So our goal is twofold. For kingdom businesses, we are teaching them to run it the God way, the kingdom way. For those that are not kingdom businesses, we are showing them the kingdom of God is not boring. The same way I started.
Yes.
Saints are not miserable people.
Yes. Yes.
You can have fun, you can make money. God wants you to do all of that, but it doesn't want money to have you and to control you.
Right. This is so good. I love this episode because you go from a story of a river, a dangerous river, to like a beautiful river that you actually want to dive into, but how God's river can lead you to change and even, get you to have aptitudes and insights, and perspective and visions that that end up leading to, the source, as you were talking in the beginning. And as you say, like for if a business is not a kingdom business, it's like what we're really portraying is more than anything else is the love
Yes.
of the love himself, which is God. He said God is love. So who wouldn't want to be a business that spreads love? Because, if love is the undergirding of everything, you will treat people right. You will
Yep.
not cheat people out of their resources in order to just make profit. If somebody's hurting, you're going to have the compassion that's necessary. If somebody's lacking, you have the compassion that's needed to help them out.
Yeah.
to feed the people who don't have, or to or even show them a better way of operating so that they too can actually be better off. So I mean, that's pretty much like what it is. I really just love it. You know, as you said, we are agent of a kingdom that operates in a certain way, and is operating in a love way.
Yeah.
I really like that. I really like this episode. It was rich,
Thank you.
rich with lessons, and yeah, how you can just change one day.
Yeah.
You can just
It's
change one day.
interesting. Yeah, that's the story of my life. I think for me, it was my first encounter with the kingdom, God's love. I was
Hmm.
like, so God, the fact that, my first thinking was, so the fact that I was not in church, God did not kill me. He loved me, still rescued me, gave me another chance.
Right.
And
Even though,
yeah, even
even though
though,
you were running away from church, be mischievous.
yes. So God is love is something I will never forget, and it's something I want everybody to know. God is not the one you want to run away from. He's the one to run to.
Yes,
He loves us. He's love. It's the definition of love. You can't define love without God.
I love it. Besides the VA company that you run, is there any other businesses that you want to talk about so that people may know what you do and maybe like benefit from your services?
Yes, I do a number of things, and let me just talk about one or two of them.
Okay.
There is one that is non-profit for a number of people that are in the US and probably some other countries, and some of them are not yet in residency, they're not yet in. We provide mentorship for them, and it started for profit, but at the time, God told us to make it a non-profit. So the guidance they need to write the exams, the USMLE exams for those that have to write it, mentoring, the application process, how to write, because some people don't even know how to put together a compelling letter of interest. Some people don't know how to put together their application to be noticed because they just think my scores will get me through the door. But it's not true. So we connect them with the resources they need to get into residency. And for those that don't even want to go that route, or those that are even waiting to match, we also connect them with opportunities that are available for them to earn an income. Like a doctor should not be jobless.
Yeah.
That's the mindset. Because the limiting, when I first came to the US, the first limiting factor, I asked, what can a doctor do? What comes to mind is the only route is just write the USMLE and practice as a doctor. No, there are several options.
Okay. What are some of these options, doctor? I'm curious.
Okay, so I could list almost 18, but I'll just summarize the options this way.
Thank you. Uh-huh.
One, there's the option of supporting clinical operations,
Okay.
which it's not a direct patient to, not a direct patient contact. Hospitals use things like preventionists. They use things like, which still makes use of your medical knowledge. Things like documentation. They need people in quality. They need people to run several paths. Like the day I was shocked in the hospital was the day one guy told me, he's the guy in charge of one of the people coordinating the medical education. I was like, what did you study? He said, believe it or not, I have a degree in philosophy. And I was like, philosophy? What are you doing in a hospital? He said, it's because I found a way to explain to them how what I've done can benefit medical practice.
Okay.
That is always the missing part. Research is one, clinical research is big in the US. Pharma is big. So many, to become a doctor, you had to take a lot of science courses.
Correct.
There are a lot of opportunities along those same lines, but you just have to think beyond direct patient contact to see those opportunities. And you can even own your own hospital as a doctor, which some people don't consider. You don't actually need a medical license to own a dialysis practice, for example, a dialysis center.
Center.
You can employ doctors to work. But it
Right.
takes a doctor, someone that understands, to even see that there's a need in this area.
Right.
But helping people think beyond the limitations of where they are, because the regular limitations is I don't have money, I don't have time, I don't know if I can do this. But saying that no, for you to have gone through the medical school, you have some kind of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I do.
So, Dr. Sam, for like those opportunities, because my wheels are turning, I know countless doctors who have studied abroad and are found themselves here and maybe may not know that they can do something like that. They may not have gone taken the USMLE test and things, and they are out there maybe in some warehouse working. Can they actually apply to these kind of like clinical work? Do they need to actually speak the language, English first, or how does that work?
One of the first steps for a lot of people, some people with the right mentorship and the right relationship, they may be able to get in without necessarily doing something else. There are bridge programs that they can take to get in. But I always recommend that if you are new to the US, there are programs that exist to support your dream. I didn't even know there was something like, let me mention one organization, a CMD, a Conference of Medical Doctors Association,
Yes,
that can support you, provide the same mentorship. But a lot of people just go at it alone.
yes, yes,
You find people like me, you find people, sometimes you talk with people. Yes, I know we don't like to talk about things like this. Everybody just tries to hide what they
yeah,
know, but
right.
right mentorship, you will get it. Two, be open to certifications and bridge programs. And look for what certifications. Some people may not entirely understand how your background relates to what they're doing. If you apply as an infection preventionist, for example, yes, you're a doctor, you understand all that,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't know
Mm-hmm.
because all they are seeing is patient practice.
Right.
So you have to take something to show them that
Mm-hmm.
I also know about this. You don't have to go take a 4-year course.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the requirements,
Mm-hmm.
then network, attend those meetings. When they have their meetings, conferences, attend. You meet other people that will tell you, yes, we are hiring. They get to meet you in person. They're like, wow. So you actually know. Someone says, what is the infection triangle? And you're looking on, and you're like, well, I've heard it. You know it, but you cannot explain it because you don't know the terminology. So I
Right.
learned it.
Man, you are you're schooling me right now, and I think what I'm gonna do is direct people to you because you're there to help. There's so many people struggling, even with families doing the least where they could be doing much better. And yes, so now that I know what you do, I'm definitely going to direct them towards you so that they too can get the help that they need. So thank you so much for sharing.
My pleasure. Thank you too for having me.
Absolutely. So that being said, really, I know we spoke about a lot of things and we went in different directions. But yeah, this was very informative. This was very enlightening. Discipleship is very, very, very important. And it doesn't have to be your standard way of discipleship. You can do it in a fun way. You can just go and hang out while the people are, seeing the light. And also, if you have a business, you can definitely use your business to bring love all around you and just like, fulfill what you were called to do, which is to glorify God with everything that you do. So thank you so much, Doctor, for coming.
So thank you.
I knew it was going to be good.
Thank
So,
you.
Doctor, if somebody wanted to work with you, how and where can they find you?
Yeah, they can send an email to one of our companies. They should just send an email to
Mm-hmm.
help at excellentconsult.
Okay, wonderful. So that's help at excellentconsult.
Yes.
All
So
right.
excellence consult with a T,
With a
not
T.
excellence. Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
Yes. Excellent.
Okay, so with a T as in Tom. All right, well, there you have it. That would be the end of our episode. I know that, we could dive into so much more, but we're going to just take a pause right here. And Doctor, would it be okay another time if we invited you so that you can bring us some more nuggets?
Yeah, I'll gladly come. You have such an amazing platform, and thank you for following this vision. We love it. I've enjoyed the ones I've seen. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for actually listening. Thank you for having subscribed. Thank you for sharing as you do. It's for that we exist. Is to shed the light. Yes. So that being said, I wish you a very great day. Be blessed. May the Lord be with you, direct you. Yeah. Till we see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Science of Gratitude podcast. If this episode resonated with you, please subscribe, share it, and leave us a review. Your support helps us keep spreading the power of gratitude. And until next time, stay grateful. God bless you.